Hi, everyone. Our subject today is about miracle and reason. Now, a person calls miracle what he or she is unable to provide a reasonable explanation for. In the beginning of humanism, beginning of time, the phenomena of nature were miracles like the sun, the moon, thunder, lightning, and rain are all phenomena for which man could not elaborate a reasonable explanation. So he took some of them for gods, then gradually incorporated into consciousness the matter coincided with, this matter coincided with God sending his prophets and messengers to correct the path and sharpen beliefs. And it was imperative that God support them with what dazzles and give them credibility in the eyes of their people. And this evidence was only within the law of nature, which means somehow laws of nature, the possibility of things. Even if it was a temporal leap in it. So Abraham was able to endure the fire that God made it cold and peace upon him. And Moses was able to present a presentation of sensory evidence from the stick, the hand, the locust, the lice, the frog, etc. Then split the sea, of course. Jesus in turn reanimated the dead and healed the blind and the leper. All these material miracles are sensed consciously, and as humanity graduated in consciousness, miracles gradually decreased as the tangible had an interpretation on the ground and the mind could understand its implications. And because Muhammad carried the final message, he did not perform material miracles that may never stand before the mind. And in addition to the fact that he opened the era of equality and pluralism, he also opened the era of rationalization. Therefore, his message did not contain what the mind could not accept. And if we suspect something else in the wise revelation, it means that we did not read well the Quran or this revelation. Rather, we read it literally, not with the proper interpretation, because Quran itself is the eternal miracle of Muhammad. It's a miracle that links the events of nature to the events of history, and the further we move away from the time of its descent, the more the interpretation is clear. Meaning, as much as we advance in time, we understand better this revelation, because things will appear as clear to the ground of knowledge of today you are in, as it did less probably in the 7th century and so on. For example, the Almighty said in verse 30, Surah 21, we made from water every living thing. We made from water every living thing, which was not possible to perceive in the 7th century, things that was Not possible to conceive that insects contain certain percentage of water, that even human being contain certain percentage of water, and everything, plants and so on, all the creation, everything that is live. And Allah said in verse 49 of Surah 51, and of everything we created two husbands, so that you may remember. To mean by that this universe is based on the law of matrimony, in everything. The Quran also contained the absolute truth of existence in a way that it is relatively understood according to the epistemic ground of every time and place. And that is why the interpretation of the companions can reflect the epistemological ground of their time. As for talking about linguistic miracle, is as if God was in a match with the poets at a time when the topics of the Quran combine Newton's accuracy and Shakespeare's eloquence. Let us recall that the early Muslims coming into contact with neighboring people, seeing their cultures, contents, and the stories their communities carried, made them not accept to their messenger less than what Moses and Jesus had given in terms of material miracles. How not? And Muhammad is the seal of them all and the greatest. If the stone exploded for Moses, it would have for Muhammad. If it cracked the sea, so did Muhammad also cross the water to invade Khaybar. And if Jesus cured the sick, Muhammad was also able to do. And if Moses had spoken to God, then Muhammad had ascended to heaven to meet his Lord and knock on its doors, as if God Almighty is sitting in a house with doors and had guards who allow this and prevent that. Far be it from what they describe, the wise download the Quran, that is, confirmed in several places that the Prophet produced no miracle. So the state of mind of that time, that the companion and the jurisprudence, and they wanted to level Muhammad to Moses and Jesus when it comes to miracles. So if they are God's prophet and they did miracles, Muhammad as well should have done or should do some miracles, because he is the seal and he is the greatest, and blah blah blah. So they wanted to give him, so they created those stories of miracles, while actually no miracle performed by Muhammad. His only miracle is the Quran, the wise revelation. Now, as God says in verse 12 of Surah 11, to confirm that Muhammad has performed no miracle, God said, so perchance, addressing Muhammad, so perchance you may give up a part of what is revealed unto you, and that your breast feels straitened for it, because they say, why has not a treasure been sent down unto him, or an angel has come with him? But you are only a warner, and Allah is a trustee over all things. Human being. And again in verse 35 of Surah 6, and if their backsliding is hard unto you, addressing Muhammad as well, Then seek out, if you can, an opening into the earth or a ladder to the heaven, that you may bring unto them a sign. And had Allah willed, He would have assembled them unto the guidance. Wherefore, be not one of the ignorant. Because the pagans and the people of Quraysh, they defied Muhammad and tell him, well, if you are a prophet, you should do this, you should do that, or why don't you bring us a sign from here? Why don't God send you an angel and stuff like that? They wanted miracles. And since the law or the message actually was sealed by Muhammad, which means no more miracles, because God wanted the man to made efforts to find solution for his problems, and to find solution for the world, and find and to be on his own actually. So if miracle continues, then miracle should have taken more and more event in time and so on, which never-ending thing. That was not actually not the intention of God, nor even the way it should be for human to advance. Actually, the Prophet himself confirmed this. I mean, the fact that he doesn't perform miracle. In verse 188 of Surah 7, he said, I possess no power over benefit or hurt to myself, except as Allah wills, which means I am helpless and hopeless in that sense. Allah, He does what He likes. I'm only a messenger anyway at the end. And had I the knowledge of the unseen, I would have amassed ample good, and evil would not have touched me. Why? Because he's protected by God. I am but a warner and bringer of tidings unto people who believe. A human being, a messenger. And to close the argument, I say that the books of Sirah about this subject are submitted to the law of inflation exponentially with the passage of time. It started with 3 pages. They started telling the life of Muhammad with 3 pages, and then was extended to different books of biography from 25 pages, small booklet, until it reached 235 pages with Ibn Kathir. And we know Ibn Kathir is like around 2-3 centuries after Muhammad, which is all an exaggeration, and all, probably most of it, I would say, fabrication. So can we rationalize our religion and move away from nonsense? Thank you.